So I thank you for the gift of your time and attention. Next 15 minutes, I'm going to introduce something very basic concept about acoustics. Before that, let's understand what Armstrong is and what we provide. Armstrong is over 155-year-old company, globally present, leader into our own segment solutions of ceilings and wall solutions. But why do we exist and run for last over 15, 16 decades is because we believe in making difference in the places we learn, we live, we play, we work. We, as a productive part of our life, 80 to 90% of our productive awake space is spent in the places where we work. And for the teachers, it's the school, and for the kids, it's a learning ground. So we have worked in India, over 400 schools. And over the last 2 or 3 years, we have done some fundamental research around sound in Indian schools. And I'm going to present a couple of inspirational stories from Indian soil with the technology of sound, which is like we run in class 7 or class 8 in a physics class. So what we provide is the ceilings. These are the materials what we sell, and we have offices across India. This is how your school can look different when it is fitted with Armstrong ceiling material. It has enhanced daylight reflectivity, acoustical property, fire resistivity, all those gamut of things. But what we really emphasize on treating each area in your class differently. Your classroom looks different than your auditorium, than your passage areas, and each area has its own work and own importance. So aesthetically, yes, it looks far different, far modern, far usable. But the whole purpose why I'm standing here and talking to you is not just to sell my products. That's how we survive. But as I said, as an organization, we really emphasize on making difference. And making difference is possible only when we can connect our students and teachers. And we'll see in the next 10 minutes how do we really serve that purpose through the products and services which we offer. And like we have wall solutions, we can do auditorium, we can do large multiple theater halls, and stuff like that. And our team, we work very closely with architects and designers. They use our product most of the time. We are the market leader globally into this. But what I want to come to you is about our schools. Now, we are very passionate about schools and learning, right? And we are very conscious about who is the teacher, what's the curriculum, whether we're using technology. But that's only a half part. The second half is the receiving of what has been said, what has been designed, what has been delivered. Now, entire focus, and that's the blind spot in Indian learning system, that we are paying very minimum or zero attention to reception of what has been said in the class. Now, we saw ma'am's video, being picturized in the class, the two ma'ams, and out there, the audio of that wasn't really clear and audible on the video which we had, right? So we'll see why that happened, because we are not saying we want utility to be the most important in the classroom and a lecture hall. We want most important thing as a privacy when it comes to teacher room. We want to design cafeteria differently, the lobby differently, and the passage differently than the classroom. Now, if you see, what do we have? We have different spaces for different application, having different volume, but we have the same floor, as in same material on the floor, same material on the wall, and same material on the ceiling. So the space is going to behave differently with the same material. We're not going to get different output using the same reflective. And in addition to that, we have green school. We're talking about glass coming into this class. So it's highly reflective for sound. Right? You're with me on this? So there are challenges in education. There are challenges which are internal. The sound getting generated because of the adjacent class and your speakers and the mic and stuff like that. You have movement of the students which generate the noise and transmit to the next class. And in addition to that, you have fans, you have air conditioning unit, and then you have a road traffic. The school once, it was away from the localities in the middle of the road right now. So you have challenges of traffic, you have challenges of playground noise coming into the learning places, And it all has impact on how you are listening and talking in the space. Now, this is something called inverse square law of sound, which is like physics. It says every doubling of a distance sound drop by 6 decibel. The first 2 feet drop by 6 decibel, next 4 feet, next 8, next 16. It keep on dropping the dB level of the sound. As a human being, I can speak only at 65, 70 decibel. 70 is shouting actually, So what teacher do? She speak best of her ability to reach out to the last page. Her intention is pretty clear that she want to reach to the last page. Now, if you have a background noise level, which is around 50 to 60 decibel, which is how in your class is, and you can easily have an app on your mobile called Sound Meter, any app which measures sound, and you can see what's the dB level in your classes. So it called for making some structural changes or some behavioral changes in the school to have a quieter places, because this is what happened. After the row 4 or row 6, your sound is below the background noise, kids don't get it. And they became a backbencher. So it doesn't matter how good their brain is, how good the teacher is, how good the curriculum is or subject is, he can't get it. So he asks next student and the next student, and that's how the entire classroom do not get engaged. And like now, when you are engaged with me, I can deliver the best of what I know about the subject because you are engaged with me. But when you are not, it's like you're driving a car with a brake being, paddle all the time. So this is what is very core to our understanding. So we need to be mindful about what's the background noise in our school. And there are standards globally. And in the global standards, the NC standard, American standard is 35 dB of noise in the learning places. And it makes sense because if you speak at 60 decibel, and if you have a gap of 30, 35 decibel, you have a faculty to modulate your voice. Otherwise, teachers in India, when you put a camera in the classrooms, are just speaking high pitch, high tone. Now, if somebody is coming in and just talking at a high pitch, high tone all the time, there is an effect on a teacher, but there is an effect on learning, because you're not going to like that person who is shouting. Further, the words are just 5,000. English is 5,000-year-old language, But emotions are deep into human DNA. Now, I can say I love you in 10 different ways, and each time I say it has a different meaning. Now, do we have that faculty exist in our classrooms today? So we move from Shantiniketan education to classrooms which has toilets also, but do not have clarity of the sound to understand what that teacher is saying, or in the flip case, what students are saying. And we'll see a lot of videos around that. Griha has come up with a green school rating that addresses it, talk about 40 to 45 decibel, which is a good point to start benchmark in Indian context right now where we are. I'm a committee member for National Building Codes, and even the National Building Codes have taken a cognizance of whatever awareness we are doing out here, and they're talking about a new term called reverberation time. It's a time required for sound to die by 60 decibel. So as a human being, if the reverberation time in given space, which is the signature of the room, is more than 0.5 seconds, half of the seconds, our ears has faculty to listen to that reflected sound. And most of the places when you talk in auditorium or a small hall, you will find a lot of echo around. So the test condition is closed classroom, door window closed with furniture, should not be more than 0.75 seconds. Again, there are apps available, there are software available, which you can simulate, which you can measure this reverberation time on your phone, what's the time in that space. Now, what happens if it is 2 seconds or 1.5 seconds? If I say, hi, how are you, in 1.5 seconds, when I say you, hi, is still in the air. And it's further difficult for a physically challenge or a cough and cold kids to get the subject very well. When you're learning in a second language, which is for most of us English, it's very difficult to understand the new words. The book will sound like book or book. So we are creating a barrier for kids to listen. Even if the subject is in front of them, they can't understand. Yesterday's paper talks about the kids can't do mathematics right. 70% of the school's kids can't do mathematics right at grade 3 or something like that in times of India. So we are not reaching out. We don't have a dumb teacher or a dumb students. They are the brightest kids available in a human generation of evolution. Let's accept that. We are not reaching out to them as needed. So this is a one good standard which Prime Minister is going to release this month or next month, which is going to get released for construction. Now, we did this work for National Building School for 20 schools across India. And none of the school, if you see, are currently meeting the reverberation time standards. You know why? None of them are designed for it. So just by doing a simple treatment of the ceilings, which is retrofitting, which happens as a dry construction, the most of them qualified after just putting the ceiling in the place. Couple of classrooms has a larger volume and did not qualify because we need to do some wall treatment to there. Or they have glass, like Cygnus is the first platinum rated green school in India. They have a lot of glass to use. So reflection, so we require more augmentation. We use 0.5 absorbing ceiling. It need to be 0.7 in that case maybe. But it's doable. What I want to address is it's just simply doable. Now what happened, BNL is a background noise level. You see the drop in a background noise level is significant. You have 8 to 10 decibel reduced because you have absorbing material on the ceiling. Now why do that happen? If you put a log formula for absorption of sound, it says it should not go down by more than a 4 to 5 decibel. But it's like a cocktail party effect, you know. First in the room we have 6 people, we talk normally. Another 15 people come into room, we just shout. And if you have room pack of people, you have to just shout more than a previous guy speaking next to you. Now that's the same thing happening in your school. One classroom is shouting, the next classroom is shouting, and one classroom is shouting more than other classroom. So when you have a ceiling which removes the reverberation time, even when the windows and doors are open, the words are delivered clearly. The students are getting what teachers is saying. So they are quieter, they're not chatting between each other. So it's like delivery get at lower space, the next class deliver at lower place. And the net difference in the background noise is 10 decibel. Now 6 decibel is half the loud. It's a beautiful learning environment which is possible in a ZP on that. So I just give you a demonstration.
Sounds unbelievable. I do not know whether it is correct or not.
So this is a new university done in Jaipur, Central University of Rajasthan, a small classroom, 155 cubic meter space. It's the 1.5 seconds reverberation. This is how it sounds, you know. And once you treat this,
1.58 actually, which is after the treatment that we are getting this.
So if you see the space,
Zoom or MFS 4 sounds unbelievable. I do not know whether it is correct or not. 1.58 actually, which is after the treatment that we are getting this.
so normally we don't listen to 1.5 seconds, which is normally in your school between 1.2 second to 1.8 second, depending upon the volume of the room, because there is so much of background noise that reflected noise is camouflaged with the background noise. You know, but that's the signature of the room. It's keep on creating that signature, whether you listen to it or not. You know, you're with me? And we'll see further later. So we are very happy to connect with you to change the life of the kids and the teacher, because there is a high impact on our teachers. When he shout, the BP goes up, the physical parameter changes, they get tired, they get throat sore, and it's so bad for teachers too to manage the class. And you're not hardly teaching, you're teaching only half the time, you're repeating what you said again and again. And so we can do an audit in your school and we can actually give a solution and work with you. So what makes a great school is, yes, we need a curriculum, we need a teacher, we need a whole lot of things, but you know, methodology is good, but what we need is a connection between teachers and student. So what I'm going to show you is a very inspirational story from Mumbai. Out of this 20 school, there's a one school called Saraswati School. Like ma'am said, Saraswati, you know, is like, and we are lucky to bump with this school. This is next to Dharavi in Mahim. They have a mixed school, you know, educated as well as poor class sitting in the school. And it's a 60-year-old school. Like most of the old school have a legacy of students, but they are losing out on a new stuff coming in. And they are the first one to go with smart classroom and projectors and stuff like that. But we did one classroom there, just as a part of the NBC study. And they went ahead and approached to raise the fund. And you see the nice story and the impact, what they have caused. And this is, I think, the way forward to transform education with the same school, with the same teacher, with the same student producing different results. So this is a video for you.
Traditionally, we had classrooms. I mean, how was the teaching taking place? Maybe there was a banyan tree or some tree like this, and there will be a whole lot of students. And then the teacher is here. He says on the stage, somewhere he says, comes and sits like this. imagine what happens to the classroom here. You have this classroom tied up with this wall on the side. There's a wall which closes here. There's a wall which comes up here. Ceiling fans come in, electricity comes in. The doors become double loaded corridors. So whatever this person is talking, there's a direct sound here. The sound is doing this, the sound is doing this, the sound is doing this, and it is coming from the ceiling also. That is where the confusion starts. Every word becomes different. Now add to that, people do not realize that you have to speak very, very loudly, because I want my voice to be thrown to the last desk.
So this is what I said. What is my topic for today is verb is nothing but action. Is it only action? No. What is that? A stands for action. S stands for H for absolutely correct. So let's try to understand more about verb. That is, in all we have two, that is finite and no, it is non-finite. Early morning we just move to our classes. Over there what we find that children are continuously busy in talking. So just we have to scream out to make them quiet. And at the same time, there are the voices which are coming from other classes. So it's very much becomes difficult. The children are unable to hear our voice. We can't shout louder. Then it happens like last 2 periods, we just go and sit, we can't teach. Speaking continuously with a very high pitch, it's very difficult by the end of the day.
I mostly like to sit on the first bench because I can hear the voice very clearly.
The back benches cannot listen to the teacher what is saying. We can hear not clear sound.
I said before the verb. So what is my subject here? Very good. So Deepa is what? Subject. After the verb. After the verb. Very good.
We were thinking of different options like giving some sort of microphone to teachers so that the students can listen to them properly, but at the same time if you do that type of thing, probably it will disturb the next class, and then that was not the real solution which we thought that time.
So the simplest solution available, which is just put a ceiling. Retrofitting is very easy. You want to do anything on the walls, it's not possible. On this side you have windows, here you have doors, you have some panels up there. How do I treat those walls? Nothing can go place here. So the maximum sound which is coming back to you is from the ceilings. If I am able to put some absorbent material there, it works. That's an amazing thing.
So this is before the verb, before the verb, right? So before the verb, I can call as subject. Before the verb, we can call as subject. And after the verb, predicate. Object. Seema teaches what? English is what? Object. Before the verb, subject. Before the verb, subject. When we came back after our Diwali vacation, I was quite like, what is this in the class? I was trying to raise my voice, but whatever I was speaking, it could reach the last bench very much clearly, and I was not getting distracted with the voices which were coming from the out. I don't have to raise my voice now. I don't have to scream anymore. It helps the children to concentrate and they can focus in the class whatever the teacher is teaching. I think this will help them a lot. What they said that whenever teacher is speaking in the class, my voice directly goes to them. There is no chaos, nothing.
Earlier, the teachers have to speak loudly, but now it's not like that.
Before some of them say that Mahalakshmi read loudly, read properly, and now they are not disturbing me while reading. The teacher's voice is very proper and it is not pressurizing teachers and even students.
I can hear the teacher now, hence I can give my exams really very well because I understand the topic now. From last bench till first bench, I can hear anywhere, any sound very clearly.
This verb. Have you heard this word verb? Yes. Okay. I don't want the correct definition. I just want the meaning, what exactly you understand from this verb.
Difference that I am experiencing as a parent now is actually visible. Because at home, when we ask our children to study, we make sure that there is pin drop silence. TV band hai, there is no outside, the other children are not disturbing and all that things. Staying here for 5 hours, and if you're studying, then that should be the main first condition that has to be fulfilled. There should be no noise, there should be no confusion, there should be no disturbances.
Our school is on the main road and railway tracks. It was so noisy and soundy that we couldn't hear. Children never used to complete their lessons. It was incomplete every time. But now with this, now I entered the class, it is so quiet and very, means really I'm feeling so cool sitting in the class.
So now even if she sits on the last bench, she's still able to hear what the teacher is saying. And this is a very good move taken by the school.
We are not a very rich school. We are, as we said, we are catering to poor, and we don't charge any single paisa from any of the students, no donation, nothing. So we are always starving for money, and in that type of school having such high class technology was not simply possible.
We are playing with the lives of the children here, direct lives of the children. The productivity goes down. What does it cost? I did some numbers. If a bad classroom exists, my efficiency goes down by 20%. 15 days of a teacher's salary or maybe 1 month of a teacher's salary is what it costs to treat this classroom. The whole thing can be done in 2 days' time. It doesn't require a long chain of fittings here.
This Ganesh Mandal of this Vadala Ganpati, they were the first to sponsor our project, and we did our second floor with this acoustic ceiling. And then from SDFC OK, they also came forward and they sponsored 3 floors for us.
Why this project and why not some other project? Now we have visited more schools and we never felt that there was a need to do it. While we also sensed that there were other areas that could be improved, this was one area which never caught our mind till we visited this school as part of our visit to see what improvements can be done. And what we felt was that this the noise here was immense on the 2 floors, and apart from the facilities that the school had, this was one thing that it needed most.
The government has made the CSR type things, which industry can contribute from its profits for the education.
This small change, it could lead to a very high value, much higher than what it could be brought about by installing other equipments, which is the reason why we set about doing this. It is a new addition to our CSR program. So this will help us in setting up a good product for the next generation to become lay a solid foundation for the country, and also in terms of giving value back from the education that they receive.
Really, students are getting benefit. We are really understanding the usefulness or the importance of sound in the education system.
The students are able to receive a better quality of teaching, which means that lesser time is spent in repeating the same subject and same points again and again, which also saves time and energy for the teachers, which is very valuable in today's scenario. So what we feel is that by doing this and by setting up this acoustic ceiling, which actually cancels a lot of unwanted noise, this will last the school with about 20 years. So we say about 2 decades of schooling, and children will actually benefit from this particular equipment.
The astonishing thing is the simple looking technologies can do wonders.
So what I want to conclude by saying, creative man is motivated by desire to achieve, not by desire to be others. And success and leadership is all about being better than your former self and to worry about, what is possible. So this is a wonderful way forward, and Armstrong team is very keen to work with you. So we can pick up 10 school or 20 school today, where we will work with all our resources to make sure that how we can actually create CSR fund and entire value chain we have created. They'll have 100 professionals working in the back to transform the way India learn in next 2 to 3 years' time. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Thank you.